Are you missing those whisper moments in your life that could be directing you to your passion? In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 whisper moments that I had been missing in my life. Hello, I'm Blake, and I want to share with you how over the past several years, I was constantly questioning what my purpose was, and I was really kind of lost as what it would be. But in reality, I kind of had reminders or indicators that came up constantly, and I hope to share those with you right now. Number 1, the first whisper that I experienced was during COVID, I was reading a book called De-Escalate: How to Calm an Angry Person in 60 Seconds or Less. And in this book, the author talks a bit about this concept of effect labeling. Effect labeling, kind of like concept of mirroring, if you've heard that come up in other kind of social capacity, is this ability to detect kind of the emotions that somebody is experiencing and more or less just tell them that you're angry or you're feeling upset. And when you say those things, the person feels like they're able to actually assign an emotion to the way that they're feeling, and they slowly kind of start to come down off of that escalation. They feel heard, they feel listened to, they feel validated. It's all these things that really, to me, kind of made sense. This was a skill that I was able to use in my personal business, any other kind of capacity that I wanted to use, which was really, really powerful for me. Not only that, I would actually tell people about this book, and then they would tell me stories where they were able to leverage this in sales and other kinds of business practices, and it became a very powerful tool. And when I started exploring this, it really kind of opened the door for me and shined the light on this concept and this principle called emotional intelligence. Number 2, eventually I moved to a small town of Hilo, Hawaii. And while I was living in Hawaii, I had a roommate that introduced me to a book called The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. And Singer presented a really interesting book on emotion and how it relates to a lot of the weight we assign to it, and just this kind of exploration in the way that we think and feel and how it affects us and impacts us long term. And honestly, I was so in love with this book. I've read it so many times now. I was really so in love with this book because honestly, for the longest time, I had actually been thinking about these things, but I didn't really have a way to articulate them the way Singer did. In fact, the whole time I was reading this book, as I was like, this was the book that I wanted to write, that, I never really needed to, because there's somebody who actually did it better. But what's remarkable about it is that it touched a lot on these concepts that you see that are prevalent in the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. And with that, and tied to the De-Escalate book, How to Calm an Angry Person in 90 Seconds or Less, a lot of these things kind of mirrored each other a lot. Not only that, a lot of the people that I was spending a lot of time with that were maybe my age or a little bit younger than me were also kind of navigating this landscape of either identifying with themselves as not being able to kind of understand and balance out their own emotions, or interacting with other people that weren't yet able to navigate and balance their emotions and how it had an impact on them. And so through that, and through sharing those life moments, I was actually able to help people kind of grow and identify a lot of those things that they were experiencing. And that second moment where I actually saw myself, where the universe was maybe kind of telling me that you're kind of ready to do some of this and that maybe you're good at it a lot more than I thought. I don't know if that actually resonates with anybody. Do you think that you actually have an idea of where you've had little moments like that have kind of struck out as maybe something that was an indicator that you should maybe pay attention more to that skill? Like, comment in the bottom if that resonates with you. And number 3, when further down the road, after I actually started traveling a little bit more internationally, I made my way to beautiful Colombia in South America. I spent most of my time in Medellin, but then I spent this one weekend trip doing ayahuasca in this small town called Jardín up in the mountains. and a beautiful town, beautiful experience. And if you don't know what ayahuasca is, it's really a topic for a whole other video. But it's a very emotional and a very impactful kind of experience, and that is very psychedelic and very wild. And it's sad, it's anger, it's fun, it's joy, it's excitement, it's scary, it's a lot of different things all in one. But it definitely teaches and grows you as a person. And through that experience, I had to interact in a lot of these concepts that I'd been learning, a lot of this understanding the emotion and disconnecting from either the intense emotions that I had mixed with a lot of the raw emotions that I was feeling, and separate the two in order to be able to kind of navigate that in a way that was healthy, in a way that allowed me to address the trauma I had and free a lot of that, but also allowed me to kind of stay sane and together. And that was a really big moment, because throughout the ceremony, towards the end of it, I actually became aware of the idea that I have a way of kind of maybe presenting this to people. I did this ceremony with 3 or 4 people, and at the end of it, everybody kind of was sharing a lot of the challenges they had, and I found that a lot of people confided in me, because as they were talking about the challenges they had, I was explaining kind of the way that I handled a lot of those things, and they found it pretty insightful because they were able to kind of relate to a lot of that and really understand the mechanics I was using to help myself disconnect from having that emotion just kind of take over and dominate the experience for myself. So, emotional intelligence, what is it? Well, emotional intelligence is the ability for us to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, while also simultaneously managing others within relation to ours. It's kind of like this compass that allows you to navigate interpersonal emotions. So throughout my journey, I've had these little whispers that were constantly there. They were constantly kind of calling to me to show me maybe this purpose that I really needed to pursue. And now that I'm where I'm at, I'm trying to actually pay attention that it was there all along. I really have been struggling with wondering what my purpose was and what would really resonate with me. And this has popped up a lot. And now I finally have this opportunity where I'm doing this coaching accelerator, and this brainstorm session of trying to figure out exactly what my message wants to be and what my vision wants to be, I started remembering all these things. These little whispers that I had finally came through, and I was like, oh, I really want to do this emotional intelligence thing. I think I can really help people see this and really connect with them. So I really ask, if this is something that resonates with you, do me a favor. I know you've seen a YouTube video or two, so subscribe, like, add the notifications, do all that magic stuff that will show me the support and love. And I hope that you'll enjoy this front row seat as I begin this adventure and I begin exploring this topic and dive into it more and more. I hope to bring daily videos and really kind of break down this. I'm really excited to have you here. Thank you much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.